my name is Megan. I graduated in 2023 from Tarleton State University. I ended up doing an internship for Amazon in 2023 before I graduated. And then after I graduated, they offered me a full-time position at Amazon. And so I took it. And after that, I got promoted in April of 2025. So a little less than a year, I was at Amazon. I already got promoted. And since then, from January until May, I am going to be in the recruiter position. It's a short-term assignment. And I'll hand things off to Kareem.
Nice to meet everyone. My name is Kareem. I'm from New Jersey. I graduated from Rutgers University with a degree in finance. I've been in Amazon for 3 years after graduating. Got promoted within my first year. And now I'm also doing university recruiting alongside Megan. But it's very nice to meet everyone. And we're going to go ahead and begin with today's LinkedIn development presentation.
Okay, cool. So a little bit about what we're going to be talking about is our professional skills and development, mainly in LinkedIn. So our LinkedIn guidance, behavioral interview advice, operation roles available at Amazon, which is mainly the area manager position, as well as the introduction to management. With that being said, we'll talk about Amazon's processes, and then we'll have room for question and answers at the end, especially for our Zoom people. If y'all have questions, try to hold them to the end because we cannot hear you right now. So how much time do you think on average a recruiter spends reviewing a typical LinkedIn? If you're on Zoom, please send it in the chat, and then people in person, do you have any guesses?
Shoot any number out, like a profile?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, how long does a recruiter look at your profile for before they message you?
30 seconds. 30
20 seconds?
20 seconds.
Cool.
Someone said 2 minutes in the chat.
What do you think?
Like a minute or two.
A minute or two?
5 minutes?
5 minutes? 5 seconds? Do y'all have any guesses for our career people?
10 seconds max.
10 seconds.
I think Haley goes 5 seconds.
20 to 30.
20, 30. Okay.
We actually spend approximately
7.
6 seconds looking at your LinkedIn profile. We're going to go over what that recruiter looks for when they're looking at your LinkedIn profile, because it's super quick, it's super fast, and what we want to see, if it's not there and we have to dig more, it's more strenuous for us to be able to reach out to you, and most likely your LinkedIn is not up to date.
So for starters, if you're not familiarized with LinkedIn, LinkedIn is a very good platform to showcase who you are. It's also very specific to the network that you're in. So you can make your LinkedIn, let's say if you're like a business major and you're in finance, you can make your whole profile about that. And when recruiters go to recruit people for that position, you'll be one of the very first people that they'll see in that talent pool. So it's very important to make sure your LinkedIn is customized, best suited to suit you, and to make sure that it has all of your skill sets on there as well. It's concise and readable. And like Megan said, recruiters typically spend like 6 seconds on your LinkedIn profile. The 2 things we really look for: graduation date, major. And then obviously from there, then we're going to send them the messages and kind of get into more information with them. But it's the first introduction matters a lot.
With that being said, if you do not have LinkedIn downloaded, I highly encourage you to download it while we're talking and trying to figure it out. That way, if you have any questions at any point in this presentation, we can go ahead and answer them for you. So that makes it a little bit easier when you're trying to set it up. So where do I start? First and foremost, download it. Second, we collect your information. So anything past job history, any skills, or anything that you've done in the past, we want to give you a network to connect with for your future. So with that being said, review job postings is kind of what comes next with LinkedIn, as well as networking and talking to different people and connecting with them. It's kind of like an Instagram or a Facebook, but more about your job and your future. So with that being said, you can review job postings and you pick out keywords to identify what Amazon principles kind of fit best with you. And we want those to be in your profile, because that makes it all of Amazon's leadership principles are kind of universal. A lot of different companies still use our principles that we have, and they're pretty universal all the way around. With that being said, you're also going to try to upload your resume if possible. We have Career Service Center here at Tarleton State University. They would love to help you with your resume. So please stop by and see them at any point, whether you have any questions about anything, we'd love to help you out. For Amazon specifically, you can always reach out to Kareem or I on LinkedIn and send us your resume and be like, hey, could you check it for me? Is there anything that an employer would like? I went to Career Services. This is what they said. And then we can help you from there.
Your resume should have your contact information, so you should always start with a good header at the top with your name, email, phone number, and your LinkedIn profile as well. You should also have in your resume, it should be an impact statement that tells the recruiter what you're looking for and why you're a good fit specific to the role. You can also make a cover letter when applying to certain jobs if they do have the option for you to put one in there. It's very important to make one customizable to that job that you're applying for. And then obviously in your resume, you're going to have your school degree and GPA. Sometimes I even tell people don't put your GPA if it's not on the higher end of things. Just leave it out. It'll work better. And then obviously any relevant coursework that you've done, any awards that you've had. If you did sports look good on a resume. It just gives kind of the recruiter something to talk about, and etc.
So when we talk about experience, we can talk about many different things. It can be work, it can be jobs, but it can also be extracurricular activities. If you are a Tarleton transition member and you went to Duck Camp and you basically had a bunch of students that you were mentoring, put that on there. That's great leadership experience. As well as if you were a Purple Poo or you were a Plowboy or you're in a sorority, whatever it may be. I know Tarleton has so many different opportunities for you to get involved. Please write as many of them on there as you have participated in, or it could even be Tarleton serves in your volunteering. We want to see everything that you have been incorporated in throughout your time on campus. And so try to highlight the most relevant experiences, and then projects. If you do capstone projects when you're a senior, or if you have different projects you've done with your college, might as well put them in there if they're value add.
Your LinkedIn is a great place to put your skills. So let's say if you have any certifications that you've worked for, you could also upload it on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn also offers certifications that you could do on there. Like one is like Microsoft proficiency. You just take like a brief test to showcase your skills on that. Same thing for coding. If you're into like computer science, you can take Python quizzes and things like that. And it could show that you're certified by LinkedIn. And it actually does make a difference. You can also put so different languages. If you're bilingual, trilingual, you could put that on there as well on LinkedIn. The more languages you know, the better. Any technical skills, soft skills, hard skills, anything, I would recommend putting it on LinkedIn if it's actually valuable to the job that you are trying to go for. But like I said, try to make your LinkedIn very compact to the job that you're applying for. So if you're trying to go into like business and you have like you want to make sure your skills all apply to that specific field, and that will help rather than putting like all the skills that you might know and yeah.
Yeah, so whenever you are either doing your resume or on LinkedIn, you kind of want to be precise about what you're talking about. So especially on your resume, you want to create bullet points, maybe 2 per category of what you're talking about. You don't want too many bullet points because then it becomes redundant. It becomes a little bit too much for a recruiter to read. So think about your accomplishments and your skills you gained and utilize your actions that led to results. Specifically, ownership. What just responsibilities did you have while you were in this role? Customer obsession. How did you make life better for your customer? Your customer could be anybody. It could be like when you're sitting in class, your customer could be your professor because you're engaging with your professor. It could be with your other students in a group project. Your customer is whoever you are working with at the time. And then also bias for action. How did you take initiative in whatever your project is? So with that being said, you can start with an action verb and keep it tense and consistent. So created, led, built, delivered, analyzed, evaluated. Chat GPT, AI is great for you to find these words, but you know we all use it. It's very helpful, but don't overuse it because it's not a human. So with that being said, let's see, you can also explain the outcome of your actions and how it was an impact to your project. How did your actions directly impact the company, the team, or your customer? We want to quantify your actions with supporting data points and metrics. It's very important at Amazon to always have numbers behind whatever you are doing. We want to make sure that we can have an impact, but the way we have an impact is with our numbers.
For the interview, these are Amazon leadership principles. You might not be familiarized yourself with them quite yet, but this can be used outside of Amazon as well. If you could just read the screen, we got customer obsession, ownership, invent and simplify, and so forth. All of these are great leadership principles, especially if you're going into a leadership role where you're going to be working with a lot of people. And if you're doing an interview or anything like that, and you try to tie these into the questions that you're answering, it will make a big difference, especially for the interviewer side in Amazon. And yeah, so you want to like earn trust, ownership, and invent and simplify were the three that I excelled in my building at Amazon. And every single year we have like a forte and a quarter where we have our peers also like kind of like vote on which ones they think we excel in and which ones we have to grow on. So that's a pretty cool thing about working in Amazon.
So the essentials when you're interviewing with Amazon, it's all behavioral based. So before you even interview, once you apply, you'll do a technical assessment. That'll be the only math skills and kind of assessment that we need to grasp it. Once you pass that assessment, you'll go into the interview phase, and the interview phase has all behavioral based questions. So we're focusing on hard skills and soft skills. Soft skills associate with Amazon's leadership principles, as in dealing with ambiguity, being flexible, forward-thinking, resourcefulness, and efficiency, persuasive and not political. That's a misspelling, so sorry. And write, speak, and listen actively. Our hard skills are going to be more along the lines of structured thinking and communication, analyzing data and financial reasoning, display business acumen, and showcase technical skills. With this being said, it's kind of what was the outcome of your choice whenever you're interviewing. The example that we can give is, tell me about a time when you were faced with a problem that had a number of possible solutions. What was your problem and how did you determine the course of action? It could have a multitude of different responses to that answer.
In the interview, using the STAR method is going to be very important. This is also one of those things that you could apply not just in Amazon, but outside of it. The STAR method, if you're not familiar, it's the situation, task, action, and the result of that action that you did. So let's say somebody asks you like any kind of interview question in the world, right? Like, tell me about a time you had a challenge and you had a problem and your team didn't agree with you. You would describe the situation of that problem. You're going to describe the task of that issue, and then you're going to describe the action and the result of that action that you did. I cannot stress enough on how important it is that you should be answering almost all your interview questions like this. It does make a big difference, and it kind of helps ground yourself as the interviewer to make sure you're not kind of talking all over the place. So strongly recommend that one.
And make sure your story when you're interviewing like a full circle. So you don't really leave out any gaps because it hits every single point that you want to talk about. So a live example for earns trust. It could be give an example of a time where you were not able to meet a commitment to a team member. What was the commitment and what prevented you from meeting it? What was the outcome and what did you learn from it? And then simplify could be tell me about a time where you were able to make something significantly simpler for customers. What drove you to implement this change? These examples are examples of questions that you could be asked in an interview. However, your responses can be tailored to anything. It can come from college experience, it can come from past job experience, but for this role that we're hiring for today, it does not have to, you do not have to have past job experience. We know you're entry level, we know you're green. That's totally okay. We want to help you succeed, and that's why we're here today. Another example would be, tell me about a time you took a big risk. What was the risk and how did you decide to do it? And what was the outcome?
So for the interview, some more tips: practice using the STAR method, and incorporate examples from your experience that highlight Amazon's leadership principles whenever you can. Have examples prepared of how you've coached and developed your peers or coworkers, if that is applicable, if you can, because this is a leadership role. If you don't have that experience, like Megan said, it's completely fine. You want to have specific examples that showcase your experience and demonstrate the risks that you've. Sorry, guys, 1 second. All right. Succeeded, failed, and grown in the process. Sorry, we had some live problems, but we're good now. Follow up if you need any clarification whenever you're doing the interview process at all. The recruiters are very nice and they love questions. And reflect on what motivated you to pursue a career with Amazon and be prepared to share your thought process throughout that as well.
Operations is the heart of the Amazon experience. If without operations, you would not have a package on your door. I'm sure most people have ordered within Amazon in their lifetime. A lot of people probably got on Amazon this morning and ordered something. So that's totally okay. We want to make sure that you get your package as fast as possible. Would not be possible without operations.
So a little bit about the area manager role that we're recruiting for today. Typically, you're going to lead and manage and develop a team that has, some buildings have 20 to 50 associates. Some buildings have up to like 400, sometimes even more. You're going to communicate policies to the associates. You're going to communicate the plan of what they're doing throughout that day. And you're going to be kind of the main vocal point to share any important announcements with them, any safety announcements. And you're also going to be that person that has to take corrective action if somebody's not doing their job properly. You're going to create, manage, and support recognition and communication programs. There's a bunch of different ways in Amazon to do so. You're going to support all safety programs, OSHA compliance, to ensure a safe work environment for all associates. They are working with packages at like 4-hour shifts at a time, 5-hour shifts at a time, and it can be pretty fast paced. So it's very important as a manager to, if you notice any kind of safety issue, that you act on it as fast as you can. You're going to ensure procedures are followed for building security and product loss prevention. You're going to partner with management team to establish and maintain quality control standards. And you're going to develop performance goals and objectives to achieve customer demand and ensure accuracy and quality with everything that they do in the building.
So our process, what do I do to get a job? Where do I start? The first step is going to be applying, but it's a lot easier for a recruiter to reach out to you if you have your LinkedIn. We'll talk a little bit more about LinkedIn at the very end, but our process would be apply online. You can do virtual job tryouts, open to nationwide relocation, and you have to be open to working nights, some holidays, and weekends. With this position, you would most likely be working 4 days on and 3 days off. So you'd have a 3-day weekend. That is probably one of my favorite things about the job, honestly, because I love my long weekends. I don't know if I can ever go back to a 2-day weekend. The second step would be the interview event. Like we've talked about, STAR method is highly encouraged, and our leadership principles is something that you should focus on. And then step 3 would be the offer stage. So with the offer stage, it will include your base wage, so your base salary, any bonuses that you may get. Usually new hires from college get a 2-year bonus, and then stock, which is super important and very lovely, and then placement, and then relocation if eligible. If you are located over 50 miles from your location of where you would be placed, you would get relocation. And then step 4 would be placement. Placement is basically identified with wherever you prefer to be located. So let's say you said Dallas, Texas, and then your other one was like Denver, Colorado. So we would first try to match you with Dallas, Texas. If we have any job openings in that area, we were most likely able to match you accordingly. And then if not, we move over to Denver. So basically it has to just align and we would offer you that placement.
That is all we have. We're gonna open up the floor to questions. If you have a question on the virtual side, please just raise your hand. And then we can go ahead and kind of put the volume up on that, right? I think we will figure it out. Just raise your hand if you have a question on LinkedIn.
Yes, and I did want to say, whenever you are making your LinkedIn, I know there wasn't like a specific slide that said it, but we want to highlight, you make sure you have your name. Please put a profile picture. And also you want to put your degree, whatever certifications you have and skills. And there's different places in each part of LinkedIn for you to be able to enter that. Do y'all have any questions? It can be any question, whether it's a question about Amazon, about LinkedIn, whatever it may be.
I hope at least by the end of today, you guys at least all make a LinkedIn. It is very important, especially if you're like a junior, senior, sophomore. You'd be surprised by how many connections you'll get on LinkedIn and how many recruiters actually reach out to you. Because it's our only way of us making contact with you guys. It's LinkedIn, unless we come in person. But
Sometimes we have Handshake too, so we can connect with specifically students.
they're shifting out of Handshake.
But LinkedIn is what everybody uses and it's kind of universal.
Yeah.
Did y'all have any questions though?
How would you say like the opportunity of either moving around from department to department or just moving up the ladder looks like?
Yeah, so that's a great question. How does your career look at Amazon? For me personally, everybody's career is going to look completely different at Amazon. You could start as an intern or you could start as full-time. This is kind of your entry-level step to Amazon. And then from there, after you stay in that role for 12 months, you can go anywhere in Amazon. Obviously, you have to apply and do the interview process. But me personally, I started as an intern. I got full-time for the same job, area manager, and now I'm in recruiting. So I got a promotion within less than 12 months, which was really cool. Not many jobs out of college, you get promoted that quickly. And so everybody's different, but I personally got promoted within 12 months of starting my position. And then now I'm in like a recruiter phase where I'm doing a short-term assignment, helping them do that. And I could go back to operations, or I could go into recruiting, or I could decide I want to do something else. So it's really up to you and how you want your future to be. So like, let's say you're engineering, you could end up going to the engineering side of things. Amazon is so huge, it's insane. Did that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
What does the safety management look like? So good question, Madison. Safety can come in different forms in Amazon. I would say kind of like the main thing. Each building has a bunch of different safety metrics that they have to follow. Especially like the main one would kind of be how many recordables do you guys have currently in your building? And anytime that number is over 0, then everyone really starts to panic.
Recordables are basically when somebody gets injured in the building and they have to go see a doctor. So it's someone who seeks outside care outside of Amazon. We have different facilities in our facility that is a safety room where we have EMTs and safety personnel that are in there that can prevent these injuries from happening before we even send them out.
So on top of the safety team being there, your job as a manager, because you guys are going to be the ones kind of more on the floor than them, is going to be you actually get to see like the packages being done live. So it's kind of like you're gonna have to use your common sense on a lot of it. Like, hey, this person's going maybe a little bit too fast than what they could handle. Maybe I should go and talk to them and tell them, hey, it's okay if you slow down. I know we have packages to do, but you know your safety is more important, and things like that. But there's a bunch of safety principles that Amazon has, and you'll get familiarized with them once you're actually there. And each building struggles in a different aspect of it. Like in my building, like we overproduce way too much. So it's always like a box might fall on the ground and or like a box might fall out of a shuttle. And we have a lot of like struck by incidents. So in our building, we always tell them to like slow down. But each building's could be different. Mine is just very high paced.
In my building, we have different ergonomic functions. Like we load t-shirts at my building, and so they're loading a t-shirt and they might strain their back while they're doing it. So we make sure we have different quarterly syncs for stretches and things like that to help prevent any injuries. But no matter what, safety is always number one at Amazon, and no matter who you talk to, I'm sure they will tell you that.
Yes.
How do you answer, tell me about yourself question? How do you begin and how do you end that answer?
Yeah, that's a great question. I personally start with either my job experience or my schooling. So when I started the presentation, I kind of say, hey, my name is Megan Wooster. I graduated from Tarleton in 2023 because that's what's current to y'all. Y'all are Tarleton students. So I want to make sure I kind of encompass that. And then moving forward off of that, I give kind of like my background and job history.
So we basically talk about our resumes.
Kind of, yeah. You can like sum up your resume into a very simplified version. We kind of want to know like what's your name, what's your major, when do you graduate, are there any clubs that you were in, things like that.
If you have a professional summary or what did you called it something else, but
See,
an impact statement. If you have something like that, that's probably, I wouldn't read it verbatim or memorize it, but that's a good, because basically you're talking about your education and background, your skills and experience, and then what you want to do career wise for the future. So that kind of encapsulates the answer to that question. So you can kind of use that to help frame that answer, but practice it. And then there was a question.
The question on Zoom that we had is, how did AI impact your recruiting process? And is there specific certificate that will value add to the skill set? I would say for the second question, value add for the skill set, it depends on what you want to do in your career. Where do you want to go? What is going to benefit you the most? Obviously, the world is kind of moving towards an AI background. So if you have some sort of certificate with AI, that's always good because that's where the world itself is going. But mainly you want to focus on different certificates for your future. What do you want to do? Do you want to go into marketing? Do you want to go into management? Do you want to be a leader? If you want to be a leader, maybe there's certain courses that you can take, like public speaking, that could basically encompass helping you in many different ways.
Yeah, I also, so for me myself, a little bit about me, like I don't plan on staying in operations forever. I want to transition into finance. So I have a bunch of Excel certificates on my LinkedIn, and I also have a bunch of accounting and finance certificates. So that's what I use to kind of showcase on there because that's what I want to do in the future. And in terms of how did AI impact your recruiting process, I don't use AI for the recruiting. It's actually very easy on the LinkedIn recruiter side that you kind of don't need to use AI. The one thing I do use though is text expander. I'll be blunt. Text expander is so you can send bulk messages out to people, and let's say like instead of typing out like a whole paragraph, I can take that whole paragraph and summarize it into like 3 letters. So if I put like SEC, it'll type that whole paragraph out for me, which is text expander. So it saves me like a bunch of time.
It's basically like a copy and paste.
It's a copy and paste tool, but it does help. So like I have like different messages for like, almost everything. But I also message 600 people a week. So, you got to give me some slack.
But also I want to say for the candidate's perspective or the student's perspective, it's okay to use AI for your resume, but I would not depend on it. I would say AI is a great tool, but it's not something that you want to solely let take over your resume. You need other eyes, other people looking at it, because at the end of the day, people are looking at your resume. And if you use words that I don't even understand, I'm going to be like, interesting. So that's why we have career service. Like I said before, they are more than willing and helpful to help you with your resumes, to be able to, you can come with an AI one, but they're probably going to help you a little bit.
Yeah. When you take your resume and put it into like one of those like AI checkers, and if it says that it's like most likely written by AI, just throw the resume out and start over.
We want to know you. Don't ever change yourself for the job. You are important in this job. We're seeing if the role fits you and you fit the role. It's not one fits one, or not one fits all. I don't know. What's that saying?
You know,
One for all.
One size.
all for one for all.
Yeah.
Does Amazon use an ATS system on their applications?
Not for the operations side. I don't know about the other departments like AWS, they might. But the operations is very simple for our recruiting process. We really just look at that year and graduation, the graduation date and the major. And then after that, then we can go into like kind of like the niche things. Do you need a sponsorship and things like that? But we figure that out just all through the process.
That's why we look at your LinkedIn profile in less than 10 seconds, is because we're looking for when you graduate, what year you graduate, and what you are graduating with. What is your bachelor's? What is your master's? What certificates do you have, and that kind of aspect. That's why it's very important to put it at the very top. You don't want us to be scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and trying to find it. Yes, I knew you had a question.
Yeah, so, and y'all talked about, and we tell students this too, but obviously tailor your resume to the role you're applying for.
Correct.
But then when it comes to LinkedIn, would that be more, because I've seen different theories of like position yourself as, you know, a platform expert or a, you know, corporate education expert, whatever that is. And that doesn't necessarily always apply to students, but what's your take on the positioning piece of what your LinkedIn profile says about who you are and your, I guess, professional goals?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. So I would say for your LinkedIn profile, have that one resume that kind of just incorporates you in general. You don't want to be specific on that because there might be an opportunity that you didn't necessarily think about. So you want to keep it as a general as possible, but still have all of your certificates and your degree and any projects you worked for. Any projects that you worked for, and then you would definitely, once you apply for the position, you would insert that specific resume that is tailored to the job. Was there a question on Zoom?
Bree, do you have a question? I guess not. Does anybody else have a question?
Yeah.
So what would you do if you had like limited experience or at least work experience? Maybe you did have like some relative experience like extracurriculars or something within your time as a student, but not work, when it comes to work experience, you're very limited.
So this job, you don't need a lot of work experience, but what I've seen a lot of candidates do, and it has worked for them, you work on what you did in school, right? Whether it's like if you can talk really well on like a class project that you did, or even like sports, it's really all on the way you present yourself. If you can talk about how this project and like, you know, use metrics in it, use numbers, see how you coordinated like the whole team of your peers, it'll work just fine.
Even if you're in Greek life, and even if you had like a position on the panel or not on the panel, but you still went to events, you can always use resources and numbers from that of like, what was the attendance like? Did you get more participation? Did you recruit anybody for your group, for your Greek life? So you can definitely use a lot of different stories. You just have to be creative with it. So if you need help tailoring the specific stories, you can always stop by Career Services and they'll help you figure out what you need to make your stories worthwhile. That's a great question.
And one thing, like with your Greek life stuff, and to her point, sometimes it's if you just don't know where to start, brain dump everything that you can possibly think about that you've done in your fraternity and let AI kind of help you define some bullet points. Because sometimes you're like, man, I've done this and this and this and that, but I don't know how to put that into bullet points that are measurable. And that it's kind of fun to do that too, because you're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And then it gives you more ideas to help develop those thoughts.
100%. Or if you have volunteer experience, we love to hear about volunteer experience. It does not just have to be about jobs. The specific position that we have is the area manager position. It's completely entry level. So you don't have to have, you could have never worked a day in your life. And that's what it's for, is because there's so many jobs out there when you're graduating that say, oh, 2 years of experience. And you're like, when would I get that? I'm just now graduating. So this is like a great resource for y'all to be able to use.
I talked about volunteer experience in my interview.
I did too, yeah.
Uh,
Do we have any more questions on Zoom? Or any in person?
Yeah.
Any questions?
You
That's
have
okay.
a question, and I can see you have a question. You're thinking about it. She's thinking, she's like, I got something.
And if you have questions after, we're more than willing
Yeah.
to stay around and chat. If y'all would like to bring up your LinkedIn and like have us look at it, we're more than welcome to do that, or your resume, whatever you'd like. We're here for you. Kareem came from New Jersey just for you.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
I came from Dallas just for you.
By way of Pennsylvania and Phoenix and. all that.
Yeah, it took a lot of layovers to get here.
I guess I do have a question. If someone would like to maybe look over my resume to help me out, I was just in the process of editing it. And it's still in the works, but
Yes, of course. I am going to put up a slide in just a second that has our LinkedIn's on it. I would love for you to add us on LinkedIn once you make your account if you haven't made it yet. And I would love for you to send it to me and I will get back with you since you're virtual.
okay, great. Thank you.
Of course. I share it.
Nice.
All right, hold on. I'm trying to.
Make it full screen for you.
All right. So on this QR code, can y'all see that? I think so. The middle one is going to be basically us logging your attendance. If you'd like to know any more information about Amazon whatsoever, we have sophomores. For sophomores, there are externship opportunities. That's a 2-day event where you basically get to go and tour a site and understand how Amazon works. If you take that externship as a sophomore, you then have kind of first dibs on the internship experience. The internship experience is for juniors mainly. I did mine before I graduated in between my senior year, so like right between my spring and then fall. So the junior for the internships is 10 weeks, it's paid, and relocation is paid as well. And then after junior, you'll get offered, most likely get offered a full-time role. And that is where you can start out your full-time position at Amazon. And like we said earlier, Amazon pays very well and benefits are amazing. But if you would like to know any more information, please scan the one in the middle. And then on both of the sides, once you download that LinkedIn, we want you to go ahead and follow us on LinkedIn. I would love to be your first connect if this is the first time you've used LinkedIn and are connecting with somebody. You can hit that search bar on the top middle, and then it'll show you a little QR code on the top right-hand side. You can click that and then press the button scan, and it'll let you scan this. Or you can snip a picture of it and do it that way as well.
How do I access this slideshow that you're going through?
We have this recorded, and I believe it's going to be in Career Services hands. So if you would like access to it, please contact Career Services and they will give it to you.
Okay, great. I appreciate it.
Of course. And it will be posted on the Career Services YouTube. Go ahead and give them a follow too. If y'all have any more questions on Zoom, I would love for y'all to either unmute and speak or send it in the chat, and I'd love to answer it. Like I said, if y'all have a resume or a LinkedIn that you'd like us to look at, please just go ahead and message us through LinkedIn, and we can. Use this. All right, since there's no more questions, I think we're gonna go ahead and, oh, I got a question. What do I need to search to find you guys on LinkedIn? You can either type our names in, which are located on the screen, or you can scan that QR code. You can even scan it from the camera on your phone, and it'll take you right to LinkedIn as long as you're logged in on LinkedIn. It'll take you to our profile.
The LinkedIn profile.
Do we have any more questions on Zoom? Oh, perfect. Thank you, Madison.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How does Amazon make y'all feel more than just a number? Like, how do they make y'all feel?
That's a great question. So I believe she said, how does Amazon make you feel more than just a number? There are a ton of people in Amazon, no doubt about it. But I believe it all starts with your manager. Whoever your direct manager is really makes you feel, and this sounds dumb, but human. Everybody's human at the end of the day. So I often get asked the question, what's my favorite and what's my worst favorite part of the job? And it would be that you are a people manager at the end of the day. You're dealing with your associates. You can walk in one day and they'll be like, I just got married, I just got engaged, and they're at the high of highs, and you're talking to them and they could be having the best day ever, but you could walk in and they could not be having a good day. They might have just got out of an abusive relationship, or they might need to get out of an abusive relationship, and you have to help them. You don't have to, but we have resources that can help them. And so honestly, whoever you are, whether it's you or the manager or the manager above you, just being personable and those soft skills like we talked about is like key to this position, because you can get wrapped in the numbers if you don't pay attention. And then you can be number focused rather than people focused. Our job is about being both. And if you become one of either one and not both of them, that's where you can come into only thinking about numbers, but it's really hard to get to that point. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
This one, I have a question. This one's probably a little bit more specific, but I'm okay asking for a friend.
Yeah.
But like, I'm a little unfamiliar, but like, how international is Amazon? And if it is, like, what are the international opportunities? in
Yeah,
that sense?
That's a great question. So we're hiring for North America. With that being said, once you get into a position with us, you can definitely transfer internationally. I know people who have been my coworkers and then they end up going internationally.
My site lead is from Spain. He just came.
So you can transfer anywhere in the world, but you have to be in that role for 12 months to start. And then after that, you can go anywhere. And they pay relocation.
They pay nice.
Those are both great questions. Okay, for my Zoom people, if y'all have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn. Thank you so much for attending. I'm gonna go ahead and unshare my screen and hop off of Zoom on this point. But if y'all need anything, please feel free to reach out to Kareem or I on LinkedIn. as well as career services. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Appreciate it, Haley.
Thank you, Haley.